Listen up, Rangers. Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve, and we're going to go over an anime that I wanted to go over today. Also, this guy's Arnes. Get the fuck off your phone.
What you? I was playing my game.
Because today we're going to go over Yu Yu Hakusho.
Steve's choice.
Yep, because he did High School of the Dead last week. I want to do my anime this week, which is the better anime.
About to teach you some knowledge.
No, can't be on. Which for this review, I think we're just going to go over why I like this anime and about what happens in the seasons that I like, and I guess kind of just review it. It'd be a review anyways. But I'm more just going to talk about the reasons why I like Yu Yu Hakusho.
It'd just be a better thing, just talk about it.
Yeah, I love it. We're just going to ramble about it. Which, for starters,
Wait. Isn't that like most of our videos?
Yeah, we ramble a lot. That's why you guys love us so much. At least him, anyways. I guess I don't know. So, for the first thing I love about this anime is the characters. Like Yusuke, Kurama, Hiei.
Koima?
Yep. We have Botan, Sho, the Takuro brothers, Sensui, Ryzen.
You forgot the vase guy.
The vase guy? Kurama?
Yeah. Sounds like a vase.
Okay. And the thing I really love about this anime, especially with the characters, is the characters are actually very well developed for pretty much everyone. Even the random off characters I really enjoyed. Like Shu, the drunken Australian dude that he fights at the beginning of the Dark Tournament.
But that guy was actually kind of cool.
Yes, all the villains in this anime are sweet.
Wait, he was a villain?
Yeah, I guess you could essentially call him a villain. They're kind of like friends later on, once you get to the Three Kings saga.
Sad day.
But he has to fight these guys, and then they all eventually respect him. Which is one of the first animes I really got into, that the hero isn't what you would consider a hero. Like, he does heroic things, but he's not the best guy.
Even in the anime, they wouldn't think he would sacrifice his life to save a kid.
I know, right? Everybody's talking crap about him. He's just like, how dare you? Because all he ever did was just cause problems and fight people. And he's known as the toughest guy in the entire city. And there's always Kuwabara that was trying to challenge him and always failing.
But I like Kuwabara.
Yeah, Kuwabara is probably my favorite character.
His sword takes so many shapes and forms, man.
Yeah, and it's just like, especially with these characters, because even with them being so well developed, they also have their own individual powers that don't clash with each other. Like Dragon Ball Z. Love Dragon Ball Z, but essentially everybody's moves are just different forms of light shapes.
That's not true. Goku's is blue and Vegeta's purple.
Yeah, and Goku does this, Vegeta does this.
And this.
And then you get that, and
this.
Well, in Yu Yu Hakusho, you get Spirit Gun. Then you get the Spirit Sword.
My favorite.
Shotgun. And then, once you move on to Hiei, he gets his Darkness Flames. Get this is a Dragon of the Darkness Flames. Well, he actually uses more fire kind of techniques.
You forgot about his first powers.
Oh, yeah, especially when he gets like the eyes all over his body, which he doesn't really use other than the movie.
Yeah, this sucks.
And he's the fastest of all the characters, and also likes to use a sword. And then you also have Kurama, who uses plants and roses.
That's why he was the vase, because the rose, rose whip.
Whip it good. And I especially like the villains in this anime too, like the early villains, like when he fights Rando, who knows like a gazillion techniques. And they're just essentially like weird fighting moves.
The guy that they go in
yeah, when he's like going to train with Genkai and he's like one of the contestants.
Yeah.
Where he's like this weird little Krillin looking dude.
That was his human form.
Yeah, I know, right? Which was cool. You had the 4 Saint Beasts, which are different in their own ways. Like, you had the Rock Monster, the Tiger, the Ice Dragon dude, and then the final guy. Which I guess is more of like what you would expect from these kind of animes, which people shoot beams by.
Time out on this one. Why I don't understand, there's the Ice Dragon guy.
Yeah.
Which there's like that Rock guy, and the Tiger, which Tiger just doesn't die. Like, this guy gets beaten like 3-4 times. He keeps coming back. Why is that little wussy guy the main boss?
Because he got beat by Kuwabara. No offense to Kuwabara, I love him, but he's generally our follow to Yamcha dude, I guess.
Oh,
I don't like to compare him to him, but he's the guy that we go to that's going to probably lose the fight early. Even though he's definitely more useful. Which is props to this anime.
He's got like greatest weapons, man. He's got a sword that turns into a fly swatter.
I know, especially later, like as he progresses. Which another thing that's awesome about these characters too, even though we're talking about the villains, is that they stay useful for the almost entirety of the anime.
Almost.
Kuwabara for the Three Kings saga kind of gets written up because it's pretty much about the demons. But it's also cool because you get more background for Hiei, Kurama, and Yusuke, which definitely appreciate. But for the villains, like I understand the Saint Beast guys because that guy gave Yusuke a run for his money, so of course that guy's gonna be top dog, you know.
But he looks like a...
Yeah, he's not the most intimidating of the four, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And then you also get Toguro, which has a tragic backstory, and he's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is awesome.
He gets to the chopper?
Essentially. He's just a giant roided out demon that just beats the crap out of people. No, and he's just trying to find somebody stronger than him to beat him. Even though he's like the one that, at the time, scariest demon alive.
Really?
Yeah, because he always kept winning the Dark Tournament. But then you find out, Sensui Saga, he wasn't the strongest. Shocker!
There's always somebody stronger than him.
And that's when you learn about the power rankings and then about pretty much the kings. How strong they are. But then you also find out Sensui, super strong. Also has a tragic past. Also Spirit Detective, which of course in this kind of anime, you have to have the guy fight somebody like him. Like in Dragon Ball Z, you have Goku and Vegeta, both Saiyans. You have them fighting each other. Also happens a lot. But then even then you get new abilities with people where you have them using like the psychic powers, which is really cool. And they still could even contend with Yusuke without actually being as strong as Yusuke. Like they found a way to get around the whole Yusuke being overpowered, especially after the Dark Tournament. Which, by the way, the Dark Tournament is literally the best thing in anime ever.
I'm rewatching the anime. I haven't got that far
Ever. Yet. Definitely at least the best tournament ever.
Tournament, yes, I'll give you that.
Because there's so many flipping characters in that. Like, I can't even remember part of their names. Like, I remember Sho, you had the flying dude that kind of sounded Scottish. Or Irish, I guess. With the red hair where he used the wind.
There's just way too many of them, though, like to remember them all.
Yeah, and then you have the Toguro brothers, the guy that used explosives. Yeah, and then everybody kind of gets into their abilities during the Dark Tournament, too. Where you get the Sword of the Darkness or Flame and the Dragon of the Darkness Flame. You get Kurama turning into Yoko Kurama, his demon form.
The fox?
Kuwabara actually fully expands on his spirit sword with the spirit fly swatter. It actually beat somebody that nobody thought he was going to beat with the younger Toguro. That dude is terrifying, by the way. Where he actually uses his abilities like to shift his vital spot around. He could stretch himself and everything.
Which would be really
Yeah, he's
handy.
like Mr. Fantastic of the Yu Yu Hakusho community.
It would be really handy to have right now, you know.
Yeah, and then again, it's just everybody's so different in this anime.
God, if we sit here and talk about like all the people like that, dude, this video will be like
this video will take
long.
Forever. Then again, we get to Sensui, which I actually really like Sensui. Because he seemed like cool, calm, and collective, but then you find out the dude is freaking off his rocker with split personality disorder. And the Sensui that you're with throughout almost the entire anime isn't actually him. I also like how he's cool, calm, and collective, and then just beats the shit out of Yusuke. You find out he's literally like one of the strongest characters in the entire anime. Except for the Demon Kings! With, I think their name was Makuro, Yomi, and Ryzen. Which I love Ryzen, which in the American is voice acted by the same guy that does Piccolo. I think it's Christopher Stabat.
No, you already stole what guy I was going to talk about, Ryzen. So
yeah, Ryzen was cool. He beats Yusuke without getting out of his chair.
Exactly why I was going to talk about him.
Yeah, it's cool because you see like this escalation of like powerful characters, but it makes sense in this. Like it's not like, oh, I just had to go train for a little bit and I have new powers now.
But he didn't.
Which they do in this anime, but it's mainly for the Dark Tournament.
He didn't train for 3 months and didn't get his gold form.
I know, right? Although they do, I guess every tournament they do a little bit of training, in a sense. But it's like when he goes to encounter his dad, the only reason he got stronger is because he finally has demon blood in him. Which kind of makes sense because I always thought it was really weird that he was as powerful as he was.
Yeah.
And they make like little hints to it as the course of the anime.
Yeah, I guess I'll give him that. You know, it would make sense.
Yeah, and then like Kurama becomes Yoko Kurama, demon form, of course stronger. Same with he is the weird one. How he gets stronger.
He just uses it forbidden jutsu that would kill him.
Alright, because especially in that saga, you just learn about his eye. But it's just for this anime, like all the characters, like even the backstory for all of them is just very interesting to watch. And especially with the way the seasons are, because usually like there's like a season you're not going to really care for in these animes.
This one.
Yu Yu Hakusho doesn't really have one. Like I even heard people really complain about the Three Kings with the ending being a little, I guess, anticlimactic. But it's still really awesome and actually resolves kind of the way I would want it to. Because in this anime, there has to be a way for it to end. If he's just going to keep fighting, it doesn't really end. Kind of like Dragon Ball Z. This anime has an ending.
Yeah,
like, I give it props. It has an ending. I like the ending.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing that usually mangas or animes these days don't have.
Yeah, well, you learn what happens with everybody, what's going to happen, good to go.
Like
I don't need any more.
Like Naruto right now. It ended. No, it didn't. You just get to watch as kids now.
You thought it did.
God, we all hoped it did.
And the animation of this anime is so good, especially for how old it is.
What is that, 80s, 90s?
Ah, something like that.
Yeah, definitely deserves my props.
Yeah, where it's definitely more in the same vein of Dragon Ball Z, where we've talked about previous animes where there's like that 3-episode progression where one looks okay, one looks pretty good, one looks amazing.
Super clean.
Yeah, like super clean. The animation is far above everything else that's happening in this show right now. But even like on the low end of Yu Yu Hakusho, still really awesomely drawn. And one thing about it too is compared to the manga, I'm not as big of a fan of the art style in the manga as much.
It's like Parasite. Like when you look at the manga, you're like, oh.
But then again, like I just still like, at least for Yu Yu Hakusho, I still don't mind it.
Yeah.
It's just compared to the anime, I feel like a lot of the characters got cleaned up very well.
It's one of those situations where they actually pull out the anime better than the manga, so.
Yeah, because usually there's like some hit and misses there, but I definitely say the anime is far superior. Also, I guess the dude that wrote that is married to the chick that did Sailor Moon.
Him and his Sailor Moon again. God, he just doesn't stop.
It all comes together. I'm trying to think of anything bad that I could really say about this anime.
There's not much.
Because there's not, like, I would say fillers. Because the story moves along pretty quickly. Like, the first season, you pretty much, throughout the course of the first season, he gets pretty much a handle on his powers with the spirit gun. And eventually loses a lot of his restrictions that he had on a lot of his techniques. And then you move on to the Dark Tournament, where everybody flourishes in their techniques.
Yeah, so there isn't
and
much.
Their whole characters. And then you get the Sensui, which is where you start getting into the more technical plot.
Yeah, so actually, like, this is one of the rare occasions animes where I technically have nothing wrong with it, you know? I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, there's not really any episodes I'd really skip. Like Dragon Ball Z, there's definitely a lot of like arcs I really like to watch, but there's stuff that I also don't really like to watch though.
Talking about seasons of fillers, you know.
Yeah, like I like Garlic Jr. personally. Garlic Jr. Saga was alright. But there's parts inside of like usually when I watch like Frieza, I usually just go to Frieza fight.
You don't want to see all the other fights with Zarbon and the other guys?
Like, they're okay. It's just a lot. That stuff's definitely more memorable. It's like same with Cell. I generally like to watch Cell.
Oh god.
The android parts
Cell
aren't quite
Saga.
as interesting for me.
The Cell Saga was the worst.
Yeah, like when Piccolo's around, I liked it. But again, that's also when Cell showed up, and that's when it definitely picked up for me for those things. But like with Yu Yu Hakusho, it doesn't really have that. Like, I still enjoy when like they're learning about the psychic powers, which I thought I was gonna hate. I really did. Thought it was a very different take on the actual anime that they were doing.
They pulled it off pretty good.
Yeah, and then you move on to Sensui, which is more of like the hardcore crazy people that have these same powers, which is awesome. Because you can kind of see how dangerous these abilities can actually get. This is also the anime that still has no really good action figures for me.
Yeah, sadly.
Which is sad. I really want good action figures. Like, I know there is action figures for this. I want super articulated stuff with a bunch of accessories, which I know I keep bringing this up sometimes, but hasn't happened yet. Figma or SH Figure Arts need to make this a thing.
I want Botan with her flying
With her broom?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I know, right?
You can have it on like the stand too and everything. That'd be sweet.
Figma, make this happen.
Please?
If you can make Cosmos, which nobody ever heard of, god dang it, you can make Botan.
You can make Yusuke, you're a messy.
I know.
You're not sick, you're a messy.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's from the anime. When the kids are eating the rum candy and they're like, oh, I'm so hammered right now. You know it's just candy, right? I don't care. So in the end, this anime is amazing. Love everything about it. Love all the seasons. Love pretty much all the villains. Think everything's pretty interesting about it, especially with the characters and their development overall.
I found one thing that's wrong with it. It only had like 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah, I think it worked.
Should have had.
It's long, where it actually would take you like days to actually watch this anime if you wanted to hardcore binge watch it. But again, feels pretty well. The anime feels pretty well paced, while also having a nice clean ending.
I could have used another dark tournament.
Yeah, I was like, everybody wants more tournaments. But what do you guys think about Yu Yu Hakusho? Please let us know in the comment section below what you guys thought of this anime. If you guys love it as much as I do, and as always, help us defeat those kaiju by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.
But I like it too, Steve.
You don't matter. You're Kawenma. I gotta look up some of the villains because I forget the early guys.
The tiger?
Wrong phone. Where's my phone? Here, look it up. I forget your password.
It's always the same, Steve. It's just.
Well, the one time.
Sweet. Go back to my phone game.
Get off the phone game.
Go. I've got to have priority, Steve.